Ondo just made a huge move towards tokenization and real-world assets. We are going to cover this announcement today on Frugal BC. So check this out. Big deal for Ondo Finance today. We're going to get into this because they just launched their global markets spreading tokenization, and we're going to talk about why this is really important, not just for US investors. It's actually more important, I think, for people outside the US. But we're going to dive into all that on today's Frugal BC. So if you like this kind of stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. Now remember, you don't have to smash it. You can actually just press it gently and it works just fine that way too. By the way, since this is a non-Algorand video, we are brought to you by actually Haystack now. Hay just launched its token today. This is a trading app aimed at low fees and fast swaps on the Algorand blockchain. So check that out. And we are brought to you by Marcus Aurelius, a meme coin and NFT project on Algorand, spreading the word of stoicism. So give a shout out to both of our sponsors today, and you can be a channel member. You can get these videos before anyone else. We're starting at only $1 with higher tiers, which come with higher benefits. But let's enough about that. Let's get to today's news, because I think this is really awesome. This is something I think is really important in the crypto space. And we're just going to cover what this announcement is from Ondo Finance today. And, you know, I think I've said this before, but Ondo Finance is something I've been very excited about. I think they're taking, well, they say institutional grade finance. So they're really focusing on the equities markets and stuff like, you know, kind of bringing a lot of traditional finance on chain. And I like this idea. So this is their big announcement today. They're talking Wall Street 2.0 is here. Ondo Global Markets is now live, providing one of the largest ever selections, tokenized US stocks and ETFs on chain with the liquidity of traditional finance starting on Ethereum. Well, not my favorite chain, but you know, they are bringing this 100 plus assets live now. They're bringing plus hundreds more on the way. So Ondo Global Markets launches with support from many of the world's leading applications and platforms. And we're not going to read this long list, but you can see there's quite a few there. I don't see Coinbase on there, which is kind of interesting because unless I'm missing something, I don't see it. And they are, if you see this on the right, you can see they're backed by Founders Fund, Pantera Capital, and Coinbase. I'm guessing that's their venture arm. Now let's talk about why this matters. Okay, building for the open economy. The current investment ecosystem is broken. Global investors have historically faced barriers to accessing the $64 trillion US securities markets due to high fees, limited access, transfer frictions, platform fragmentation, and geographic exclusions. And this is what I'm talking about. So when I say this actually benefits both, it does. And here's why. First off, you know, when we think about, a lot of people might think, if you're in the US, you might think, well, big deal. I can just go buy Apple, or I can buy Nvidia, or whatever. I can do that on a Robinhood account. No problem. Big deal. Not that easy when you're out overseas. A lot of people just simply don't have access, or getting access is really, really difficult. So Ondo Global Markets is going to bring this to those investors. And the also benefit is that means that's more investment capital coming into the US market, which is also great for US investors. So this is a double whammy. It's a win-win, really. These problems have persisted for decades, locking millions out of capital markets and stifling innovation. Ondo Global Markets breaks through these limitations and transforms how securities are issued, accessed, and traded. Setting the highest standards for tokenized equity, Ondo Global Markets represents a step change over existing tokenization platforms, solving the structural issues that have plagued on-chain equities, illiquidity, wide spreads, and persistent price dislocations. This is a really important thing. You don't want a separate automatic market maker. And this is one of the mistakes I think Lofty AI, which is a real estate platform that I cover, or at least have been covering, made, is that they made an automatic market maker, and that dislocated the price between the actual token and the actual property, which the whole point is you're supposed to get access to the increasing real estate market, and instead you don't really. So at that point, I just don't know why it's better than an REIT. So this is the fact that they're recognizing this really important. Unlike prior models that attempted to recreate liquidity, Ondo tokenized stocks inherit it directly from the traditional exchanges. This is a really important point. Directly from the traditional exchanges, enabling for the first time tokenized securities at scale with price integrity and true market depth. This is so key. For real world assets to work, they have to actually represent real world assets. It can't be like this separate thing. And so I think this is a really important way to do this. While some of the recent versions of tokenized stocks are locked in siloed platforms, Ondos are transferable and usable across DeFi, designed for composability automation, and integration into the broader ecosystem. Very cool. Ondo Global Markets delivers a next-generation feature set for tokenized stocks, ETFs, and more, including 24/7 peer-to-peer transferability, 24/5 instant mint and redemption. So I'm guessing you can only do this like Monday through Friday when markets are open. That would kind of make sense, actually. Access to traditional exchange liquidity and DeFi compatibility. I'll be curious to see how this is actually implemented, because it'll be really interesting to like say, I don't know how that would work. I'm really curious. Would you have like token pairs and would you earn yield from them? I don't know. That's really interesting. Or maybe there'll be like staking where you can stake and earn more. I don't know. That's really interesting. Anyway, secured, verified, and enforced. Ondo tokenized stocks and ETFs are fully backed and secured by U.S. stocks and ETFs held at one or more U.S. registered broker-dealers, together with cash in transit. You know, this is kind of what we're talking about, the one-to-one pairing. We kind of covered that in the last one, why that's important. A third-party verification agent reviews backing daily. That seems like a lot. I don't know if a lot of other companies are doing that. I admit to some ignorance on that, but I think that's not normal, in my opinion. That's good. A very good thing. A very good, not normal, by the way. And an independent security agent holds a first priority security interest in the backing assets for the benefit of token holders. Ondo tokenized stocks are issued using battle-tested practices designed to maximize bankruptcy remoteness. This is just the beginning for Wall Street 2.0. Ondo Global Markets is going multi-chain, soon expanding to Ondo Chain, BNB, Solana, and more to make US markets even more accessible worldwide. So let's hope, okay, first off, good. You know, they're starting with Ethereum. I get it. It's got the user base. It's got the size. It's going to work way better when they start getting on these second chains. And I really want to see this integrated with Algorand and with HBAR and some of these utility chains that are just working really well and are solid. I'm not the biggest fan of Solana. I'm surprised they didn't launch on Ondo Chain first, but I guess that makes sense that you want to go with the biggest potential market. Anyway, I think this is wonderful and I like this approach. I think this the key thing here, the really key element here is the fact that these are backed one-to-one, that when you buy one of these tokens, you are buying an actual share of the stock. It's not just a synthetic token that is matched with the price. You're actually buying the stock. And this will allow people worldwide to buy these stocks, which is going to bring a lot of liquidity into the global markets. I will say this might have, let's not go too far. I was almost going to say that this might have more impact than some of the US's, some of the government's like pro-crypto stances, but I think that's actually going to be bigger. I'm not going to make that claim today, but this is a big deal. You guys should be really, really happy about this, and I'm excited. Let's see what people, I'd say price still the same. Good God. Okay, hold on. Let's go to the first tweet so we get like the reactions. Someone said the price still the same. Yeah, here it is. No change in price. Why is everything about price, guys? Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Why ETH? No, this is a solid question. I think I kind of answered it. Why ETH? But I can understand, you know, it's slow and expensive to transact. 100%. Did you know if you unstake ETH, it takes like 15 to 30 days to unstake? That's crazy. So yeah, definitely looking forward to going on other chains. Would Portugal's crypto tax regime apply here? Well, that's a good question. I have no idea. I mean, I've said I don't like Solana that much, but it would definitely be more functional than on ETH. So I can understand that. So all this time and it's not even available in the US, but we don't really need it necessarily. I think there's probably going to be, you know, we still really haven't gotten full regulatory clarity from the US. That is coming soon. You'll probably see it more. Let's see. Actually, it says right down here, GM tokens are not registered under the Securities Act. As amended, the active GM tokens are not offered or sold in the US to US persons or the account benefit of US persons or to persons in other restricted jurisdictions. So yeah, you can't get this in the US. But like I've said, the benefit to the US to me is actually separate from the benefit to people outside of it. Because for us, we benefit by more people buying stocks, which pumps our markets. So, you know, if you have index funds, which I do, or individual stocks, I've done really, really well on NVIDIA, I'll tell you that much. This will bring even more liquidity into those markets. So that's wonderful. I don't necessarily need or want to use this, but maybe I will if it becomes available in the US eventually. But something could be really, really good without it benefiting you directly. Yep. Nailed it. 100% tokenized stocks with the liquidity of Wall Street. Well, it's the liquidity actually will be the liquidity of the entire world. That's kind of the point. So as with anything in crypto, we do see some complaints, of course, but mostly a very bullish sentiment on Ondo. And I think this is a great thing for the crypto ecosystem. I think this is great for US stocks. If you're a holder of US stocks, you are going to benefit from this because it's going to mean more liquidity coming into the market, which is awesome. So I got to give a big shout out to Ondo Finance here. It's one of the cryptocurrencies that I've been covering more. I admit I need to do a little more research on Ondo because I'm not like fully versed in the ecosystem like I am for, say, Algorand and starting to be for Hedera, but Ondo is definitely one of the ones that everything I read about it, I like. So pay attention to this, but also don't expect like a huge price bump with stuff like this. Sometimes it happens once in a while, but it's pretty rare these days. The market tends to move primarily in parallel with some exceptions. And so it's probably a good idea not to get like overly excited about specific news items as they relate to price. But that doesn't mean this isn't a good thing and just an awesome win for crypto in general. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about Ondo Finance's new global markets in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm Frugal BC. I hope you guys are doing great out there, and I'll see you in the future.